Hello and welcome. This is Palan, and you are listening to Stuck in the Middle, a podcast that looks at the psychology of uncertainty, the quiet strength of ambivalence, and the choices that shape who we are. If you are navigating life's uncertainties, those moments of doubt, change, or growth, then you are in the right place. Because sometimes life isn't black or white, it's lived in shades of gray. We believe that in the context of ideas, we find clarity and the perspectives to move forward. Join us in this ongoing, meaningful conversation. Subscribe now and tap the bell icon. Today, we will discuss a contested topic, the psychology of vernacular education against a long standing backdrop of Tamil schools and Chinese schools in Malaysia. This topic has potential to ignite a meaningful discussion among our listeners who are interested about multicultural education, inclusivity, and heritage. Vernacular schools, in this case, Tamil schools, are often at the crossroads of politics, identity, and policy. Mother tongue, modern minds, the role of Tamil schools in globalized Malaysia. To discuss this topic, we have an outstanding thought leader, a former Malaysian Minister of Human Resource. I always call him as a polyglot who speaks many languages fluently. And of course, one who has been in public service all his life, and I think more importantly, a leader who has a unique perspective, both being a policymaker as well as someone who's deeply rooted in the community. Dato Seri Dr. M. Saravanan, also often known as Malaysia's Tamil poet in residence. Dato Seri, at the very outset, I have a disclaimer. I did not go to a Tamil school. So you might wonder, why am I actually moderating a session on Tamil schools? But quickly, before you say anything, I must add that my parents insisted I learn to speak and write and read Tamil. So I do speak Tamil, I do read Tamil, and I also write Tamil to a decent level, to a reasonable level, not of course to your high standards, but to a reasonable level. So having said that, Dato Seri, my first question is at the very outset, what personal connection does Tamil schools have for you? And two sub-questions there. What personal meaning and emotional connection does it have for you? And how has this shaped your identity and values, Dato Seri?
Thank you, Tansi. First of all, let me record my sincere note of appreciation and gratitude. Though you have never been to Tamil school, but you're able to read and write Tamil, nevertheless, your contribution for the Tamil society in this country is remarkable. You have contributed significantly for the growth of Tamil language in this country, regardless whether it's language, culture, arts, thereafter. When you talk about my connection or my involvement in Tamil language or with Tamil culture, it will be less than honest if I don't admit without Tamil language, I won't be where I am today. Okay. That's a gospel truth. The very first time, 1983, I was a secondary school student. In fact, I was in Form 2, if I'm not mistaken. Dato Samuelu met me during a youth function somewhere in Medley Tamil School, Fletcher Tamil School, in fact, organized by a Medley Sports Club. And he was impressed with my Tamil. And getting appreciation from a senior cabinet minister at the age of 15 is something that I will never forget. And that was the biggest inspiration I've ever had. That motivated me. Though, our primary education from Tamil school and we don't have much opening in secondary schools. Yet, the kind words from the late Tunsami Velu inspired me to go in very much deeper. And in fact, my early days in MIC, I was recognized very much compared to many seniors. And I achieved a lot of success story at a very early stage. I was the youngest branch chairman. I became a MIC branch chairman at the age of 21. I was the youngest division chairman at 29. I was the youngest senator in the history of MIC. All these was possible because of my Tamil language. I fluent Tamil language compared to many others.
Sure. Wonderful. Thank you, sir. I remember seeing you in 2002 as a young person in Bahrain. And I used to wonder, who is this young person who is a senator? And I used to be wondered until I heard you speak in Tamil. Then I said, yes, okay, probably this is the reason why you are where you are. But you know, the challenge today for us, Dato Sri, is how do Tamil schools stay relevant while preserving the cultural heritage? I know that Tamil schools have been a pillar of cultural identity and they have promoted social mobility. But really, how do they stay relevant? Because in this book edited by Hannah Mukherjee and Rajendra Nagappan, professor, where I also contributed an article, in one of the articles they mention that enrollment is dropping for Tamil schools. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's today less than 100,000 students and about 528 Tamil schools. And this data is from the Prime Minister's office. But according to the Ministry of Education, Dato Sri, in the backdrop, they also say that 34% of all primary schools in Malaysia are under-enrolled. In other words, they call it Sekolah Kurang Murid. But Tamil schools, over 50% of them are under-enrolled. So in that situation, Dato Sri, how do Tamil schools stay relevant in a globalized Malaysia? Your thoughts, Dato Sri?
Tersi, first of all, thank you for reminding me of 2002 Bahrain. In fact, it was one of my most memorable trips. At a young age, I was given an opportunity as a new senator to travel with then Prime Minister Tun Mahathir in a private jet to three different countries. We started with Libya, thereafter to Morocco, and finally to Bahrain, where I met Tan Sri. And that was one of my most memorable trips in my entire life, in my political career. Talking about Tamil school, Tan Sri, that many of us don't realize Tamil is not a language by itself. Okay? It's our culture, our heritage. If you look at the history of Tamil, said many languages, they don't connect with religious. But as Tamil language is interconnected. If you are talking about the 6th or 7th century, without Tamil language, I don't think we were able to spread Hinduism or Saivism. Okay? Of course, mantras being Sanskrit mantras in the temple. But outside temple, to carry the values of our religion, let it be Saivites or Vainovites.
Rich literature.
It's Alvars and Adiyar. The language was the medium. So, as you see that for us, for the Tamils, the language is not just language alone. It's our lifestyle, it's our heritage, it's culture, and this is a way of life.
Sure.
So therefore, I don't think we can separate the language from the Tamil community.
Sure.
Especially the Indians in Malaysia. And we are looking at our heritage. Many may deny, but you cannot run away from the facts. In fact, we have a history or trail of 200 years Tamil education in this country, which started in 1816 as a Tamil, not Tamil school, but it's more of a Tamil teaching or Tamil forum in Penang Preschool. That's why we celebrate our 200 years of Tamil language in Malaysia, about 2016. And the first Tamil school was built, if I'm not mistaken, in the Sramban, 1871, if I guess. 1871 or 19, somewhere there, Sraman, Java Lane, Tamil school. So these are things. So I don't think you can separate the community Tamil
from
language.
the language.
Maybe the numbers are shrinking. I feel that, to be honest and see, we must admit, and we were part of the government, you cannot blame others.
Sure.
We were part of the government, and there's no affirmative action to ensure the growth of Tamil language.
Sure.
Okay? You allow me, let me say this. We are spending so much, millions on Tamil school. And as you said, we are looking at 100,000 students. We spend millions, but there's no proper system when they go to secondary school. What is the point of you spend millions in Tamil school at primary level? When they go to secondary school, there's no organized methodology.
Sure.
And you can have 14 students. The moment you are lack of one student, your fundamental right were denied by the education system.
Sure.
So the secondary schools, the moment they don't have 15 students, they deny your rights.
Sure.
But thereafter, when go to university, at university Malaya level, they have Department of Tamil Studies. So these students are isolated or get lost at the secondary level. So these are the areas actually we have failed.
Yeah, but you know, Dato Sri, I know, I remember, I didn't say that you were, when I introduced Dato Sri, I didn't say you have been in politics for a lifetime, but I said you were in public service for a lifetime, because I believe that whenever you are in government or out of government, you're always committed to taking up social causes or public causes, irrespective of what the consequences are. You speak the truth. But there is a very contentious and contested subject, Dato Sri. You said you do not know what happens when from primary school they get to secondary school. But there has been this criticism. Critics say that vernacular schools hinder national unity. Yeah. Whether they go to university, they are kind of polarized, they are not integrated. So critics say that vernacular schools kind of don't foster harmony and promote integrity. Now, the biggest challenge has been this. While proponents like Dato Sri say that it promotes cultural identity, the issue still remains. This debate continues. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, a very distinguished Prime Minister on 2 occasions, once suggested national schools, and he said, let's bring the Chinese schools and the Tamil schools within the campus. Core subjects are taught in the national school, something similar to that. And I remember the distinguished late Tun Lim Keng Ek, president of Garakan, objecting to it. So there have been issues of such. But in spite of all of this, I think the government has done what it can. The Razak Report of 1956, the Education Act of 1996, Education Blueprint 2013-2025, they all reiterated the support for vernacular schools within the context of the national education system. So, but we are still on different tracks. There's a Chinese track, there is a Tamil track, and then of course there is other tracks, and of course some people have challenged the legality of vernacular schools, and sometimes people even say that some of these people are not loyal to the country. So in this background, Dato Sri, it will be very interesting to hear from you, because you are Minister of Human Resources, though not per Paduan, it's Human Resources, Talent Development. We're very interested to know your thoughts on this debate.
That is very interesting. In fact, very early days when I entered into politics in early mid-80s, I had the similar feelings. In fact, at one MIC General Assembly, I proposed, and Samuel said, can you just shut up and sit down? I said, by making it compulsory for every Indian, Tamil studies, let it be the national schools. So there's nobody is exceptional. Everybody must go. Today, we have both. We have Sekolah Kebangsaan and also Tamil Vernacular School. But making it compulsory for national school, every other Indian Tamil speaking community in this country is forced to, or they don't have option.
Sure.
But the biggest question now everybody is facing, asking, the trust deficit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, today,
True.
we all agree, but how far we can trust the system? They just take shelter. The moment there's no 50, see, POL is allowed, legally it's allowed for any student.
Sure.
Let it be 1 or 15. But why my fundamental right was denied the moment I'm short of 1? And there's no monitoring mechanism until today, Tan Sri. Another failure of us, at the secondary level, there's no monetary mechanism from any political party or and just nothing. Whether the pure classes exist, otherwise why it's not, or what can be done.
But Dato, can I interrupt? You talk about a constitutional right, but you have been a policy maker as well as deeply rooted in the community. So you say if there's one shot or two shot, it becomes a problem. Is it cost effective to have a class for 13 people?
No, not at all. Not at all. See, my concern, why do we spend millions in the Tamil school, both from private and government sector, when there's no mechanism to continue at the secondary level?
Sure.
So this is where we are talking about trust deficit.
Sure.
Then all of a sudden you're having it at university level.
Sure.
So so whom do we blame?
There's a gap.
Who do we blame?
There's a gap. The Chinese schools have the secondary schools, but they are independent, right? They're independent Chinese schools.
And Tansi, many of us who have been to Tamil school, not only teaching us language, it's more of culture, lifestyle, harmony.
Sure.
And every time we are promoting Malaysia to rule Asia, without all these elements, we cannot be Malaysia to rule Asia.
So what you're saying is diversity. Diversity.
And that is only can come through the vernacular schools.
Sure. Sure. So given that thoughts, so what are the biggest challenges then Dato Seri faced by the Tamil schools, and what kind of support is truly needed from these three categories? Government, community and private sector. Private sector is easy because I do know that sometimes most businesses, whether Chinese or Malay or Indian, in rural areas, they have gone about to support the vernacular schools infrastructure. Small businesses, it's a micro drive. And of course, I think there's a lot that the Indian or the Tamil private sector need to do as well. Because one of the things that we have done is we have also kind of supported an initiative called Tamil Amudu to make sure that we support in different ways teacher quality. How can teachers teach better? We have gone ahead to train them. The second one is basically a community initiative, and that is like what happened in Singapore, SINDA. The Singapore Indian Development Association largely was a community initiative supported by the government. So what can we do in that sense? And number three, of course, is the government. So what policy reform is needed? What policy reform is needed? What can we do given the infrastructure shortage, teacher shortage, funding shortage? What policy reform is needed to make Tamil schools relevant in a globalized Malaysia, Dato Seri?
Oh, that's in fact, it's a long shot. But there must be a serious affirmative action.
Serious
Affirmative action from all sectors. First and foremost, the government by themselves. See, once upon a time, we had 1,088 Tamil schools. Of course, they were at estates, and when the estates were fragmented, the schools were automatically closed. But that should be the role of the government. The moment a Tamil school is closed, to identify a new, of course, when estates are fragmented, they are moving elsewhere. And there are places there's no Tamil school. So it should be the utmost duty of the government to identify the right place and build new Tamil school. Don't push it to MIC or the community.
Density.
Exactly. That should be the role of the government. So before, see now, we can hear very often, they say, X number of schools are less than 10 students, less than 50 students, less than 100 students. Then the government must come out with an announcement, therefore we have decided to build the school or using a license to build elsewhere, the new housing area.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
That was
one.
it. I have to interrupt you.
That is in terms of infrastructure. In terms of teaching methodology or education proper, there must be a proper guideline from primary right up to university.
I agree with that.
Like if you go to Sri Lanka, countries like Sri Lanka, you go to India, many other part of the world, even in Singapore, they have the continuity.
Sure.
But here, we don't see a continuity through the government effort.
Sure. I agree. Yeah, I agree.
And most of the schools, the prime minister very proudly said, anyone with more than 10 A's, A plus, I will give an opportunity in matriculation. But how many of us actually have Tamil literature in secondary school?
Sure.
And how you expect them to get 10 A's when there's no opportunity at the secondary level? So this should be the role of the government.
Dato Seri, I wanted to interrupt you, but thank you. You have been always as articulate as ever. One was you always say this, particularly to your critics. You say, forget the past. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe we apologize, but let's look towards the future. And that's something that I value very much in your statement. Every time you say, yes, maybe it's my mistake, but that's not the point. The point is now for the future. That's something incredible. But just going back, but MIC was in government, Dato Sri. And you had a deputy minister in the government, Dato Sri. So, and to a lot of people, MIC, in Tamil they say is a yakam. It's a movement. Whatever you might say in politics today, MIC is a movement, Dato Sri, because people looked upon to MIC. So given that background, I hope I'm not offending Dato Sri, but just wanted to ask and say that we even had a deputy minister in the Ministry of Education. So why did that happen, that we missed that opportunity when these challenges happened, Dato Sri?
Tansi, first of all, of course, I always say this, that forget about the past.
Sure.
It's not a right choice.
Sure.
Definitely not our mistake. It's
Sure.
not we made.
Sure.
That
Yeah,
mistake, it's not a we made.
Sure.
We were in the government for many years.
Sure.
And we must admit the fact, yes, we made a mistake.
Sure.
Okay, for not putting things on track.
Sure.
But nevertheless, Tansi,
Sure.
our demanding power started after 2008, after the in-draft.
Sure.
We must admit. Prior to that, the Malays were so united. And you know the late Tun Mahathir era. They don't need other parties. They don't need other community votes. The Malays were so intact. The Barisan National, as they say goes that even you leave Songkok, the Songkok can win under the Barisan National ticket. So they were intact and they were enjoying the 2/3 majority, so they couldn't be bothered about others. Things became different only after 2008, and we had the best window from 2009 until 2018 where Najib was the Prime Minister.
Sure.
But we were doing systematically. See, only after 2009, you asking about Deputy Minister's role and minister. Say, no, in government, Deputy Minister doesn't have an executive role.
Sure.
Okay, you cannot use your power and get things done as a Deputy Minister. You only can use your PR skills to get things done,
Sure.
unless you are a minister. And of course, a little unfortunate when we became a Minister of Human Resources, that was toughest period where we were suffering to save the country from COVID-19. And my role was very critical to save 15 million workforce.
Jobs.
And I must say, this government during that period saved
Sure.
the lives and livelihood of many people. Okay, so the only window we had to see during Najib's era, we were able to put everything on track.
Sure.
Okay, let it be employment, let it be the Tamil school development, let it be job opportunities, business opportunities, everything was in track.
Sure.
Okay, and we were able to form cabinet committee. Never in the history of Malaysia, Prime Minister himself chairing the cabinet committee. Okay, usually Deputy Prime Minister. But this was the first time MIC was able to convince the Prime Minister, or the Prime Minister was willing generously to chair the cabinet committee. We were putting things on track. It was the first time the country have heard custom diraja headed by Indian civil servants, so on and so forth. Then there was a very first time the temples were getting millions. That was the very first time Tamil schools were getting millions to rebuild. I think that was the only area of a new license was issued for Tamil schools.
Sure.
So that was the only time we had something like Amanasam National for Indians.
Sure.
So this was on track, but unfortunately, it was very unfortunate.
Sure.
We lost everything in 2018, where the Prime Minister then lost his power. Otherwise, we would have done wonders.
But that's democracy, Dato Sri.
That's democracy, and we respect democracy.
Yeah.
And that's quite heavy for us to absorb.
Well, having said that, let's just move on a little bit, Dato Sri. I've always wondered, whenever I'm interacting with the youth, how do you tell the youth? Because I remembered a Singapore university had a discussion on the relevance of the Tamil language for the youth. So how do you convince the youth today, Dato Sri, that Tamil it's not just a cultural heritage, identity, but it has got some relevance for you. And it's an advantage in today's English dominated world. I go to Chennai, Tamil Nadu, and I believe that in India they have this 2 language and 3 language policy, and I think Tamil is really something that originated from Tamil Nadu, Chennai. But when I greet someone in Chennai, Happy New Year in Tamil, Puttandu Valthukal, they respond to me Happy New Year. Their psyche is completely dominated by English, Dato Sri, in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. So in that context, Dato Sri, how do you convince the youth today that Tamil has an advantage for them? Because that's how we're going to improve enrollment, right? Other than cinema and singers and songs, pop songs and others, other than that, Dato Sri.
And see, if you look at Tamil language from outside point of view, you may not get excited. But once you get into it,
Sure,
you will reach it. Sometimes when I go out, when I explain about the richness of Tamil language, culture, literature, even the non-Tamil speaking crowd get excited.
Of course,
They get excited.
of course.
Even many of the young generation, when they attend our programs,
Of course.
they get carried away, get excited. But do not compare with what's happening in Tamil Nadu. The civil war in Sri Lanka, the civil war of Sri Lanka have created a new Tamil speaking community all over the world.
Of course, of course.
Like next month, July, the whole Tamil speaking community from all over the world will be in North Carolina to celebrate. And it's all over the world. And now the awareness are increasing. Now, if we look at about approximately about some 15, 20 years ago, only you see children from low income group at Tamil school.
Yeah. But now it's changed.
Now,
it's
for
changed.
instance, you just visit Vivekananda, Bangsa, Brickfields, and many other parts of the world. You already started getting the middle class and upper middle class.
Sure.
And I think that somewhere we are getting further and further. And I think this will be a great beginning.
Sure.
See, getting a middle class and upper middle class in Tamil school was something that we never imagined some 20 years ago.
Certainly, I have seen a lot
But
of...
I believe we need a proper action plan.
Sure.
Okay? Proper action plan from primary to university level.
Sure.
And you can see that MIC own a medical university,
Sure.
AIMS.
Sure.
Now we have started a new department of Tamil Studies.
Oh, wonderful.
Tamil and culture.
Wonderful.
And this is, I think, giving us a new opening. We are trying to negotiate with some of the well-known universities in Tamil Nadu like Annamalai and Kamaraja to get a better way forward.
Faculty. That's nice. Dato Sri, Maxis Anantakrishnan of Maxis fame, Tan Sri Ampi, they all went to Skola Vivekananda in PJ. They were old students there. And today I find that a lot of T20 and M40 kids go to Tamil schools. So that's interesting. But of course, there is a cultural identity, there is social mobility, but it's on the economic angle that's the biggest challenge. And unfortunately, our colonial masters, the British, kind of occupied our minds and left English deep rooted in our minds. So we are still colonized by the English language. So youth today feel proud to speak English rather than appreciate the rich literature of Tamil, or for that matter Mandarin or Bahasa Malay, or for that matter any other vernacular language, unlike the Japanese or the Koreans. So how do we change this mindset among the Tamil youth? I know you, whenever you speak, people change their mindset because they are inspired to listen to you. But you can only do so much. How can we create a movement out of Dato Sri Saravanan?
Let's see, if we talk about 10, 15 years ago, maybe I go back a decade. A student from Tamil school doesn't have a niche area. Like unlike a Chinese school, the moment you see a student from Chinese school, you can call for an interview. At least you'll be have a mindset, so and so must be good in mathematics. So we never had that kind of niche area if a student coming from Tamil school.
Sure.
But today, Tansi, the scenario is completely different.
Yeah, this changed, yeah.
You are looking at Tamil school students coming with A+ in mathematics,
The results have
biology.
been very good. Yeah.
Look at the result today. All those students getting 10 A's from their results. And they got A plus for Tamil literature,
Sure,
A plus for
certainly,
Tamil.
certainly.
Over and above, they get the same A plus and A for biology, chemistry,
Sure,
mathematics.
sure.
It was not the case some 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So the changes are taking place. When
Sure.
the changes are taking place, we need, that's why I always affirm that there should be affirmative action.
Sure.
Okay, see, we spend so much on Tamil school. And in between, they get lost at the secondary.
Sure.
There's not even a single mechanism to monitor
Sure.
whether during our time we had the Tamil language society.
Sure.
And today we don't see all those things. This is where I would admit is a failure of MIC.
Sure.
And today, for us to overcome that and say all these, I can request for affirmative action. As you know, during the Tamil International Tamil Conference, I asked the Prime Minister whether can we reduce the number from 15 to 10. But until today, I don't see results. But I can't blame the Prime Minister because the Indians, we are fragmented now.
Sure.
We're almost in every party.
Sure.
So until and unless, Tan Sri, I can say until the cow comes home. Okay? But until and unless we are united, we become a single voice, I don't think we can succeed.
Sure, I agree. I think going back to this very well produced book, Malaysian Indians and Education, written by the Academia, I think one of the key things that came out was the qualitative improvements in Tamil schools. Quality of teaching has improved, results have improved, and that's good. But it's like what you say is we just need some kind of a policy reform to change that. Well, the next question is something I did not plan to ask you because it's about politics.
Oh.
And I really said that I shouldn't ask anything political because here is something that we wanted to discuss about vernacular education and the psychology behind it in Tamil schools. But I can't get away when you are around here without asking a question on politics. And Francis Fukuyama, in his book Identity, he talks about contemporary identity politics because I think Dato Sri mentioned about before 2008 and after 2008. And he said identity is a theme that underlies political phenomena. And he says that we cannot escape thinking about politics and ourselves in identity terms. So one of the criticism is that is vernacular education all about identity politics? And one of the criticism, Dato Sri, is that they say that your support, your unequivocal support for Tamil schools, your championing Tamil schools is based on politics. Interesting to know your thoughts, Dato Sri.
If you look at overall as a whole thing, MIC was never a Tamil-speaking political party from the beginning. If you talk about John TV, thereafter Bosing, and all this thing, until Ramanathan Chettiar came into power, and it was well established when Tun Samanthan, late Tun Samanthan took office.
Sure.
So Tamil school or championing for Tamil school or championing for Tamil cause is not only very much political, but it's purely our stand to sustain in this country with multiracial. Second, and three, if you want to destroy your community, the first move anyone should do, destroy the language. Then you lose the identity. Therefore, our stand is very clear at any cost, without any political aspiration, we still
sustain
it.
I've always toyed with this one idea because I've looked at how the Chinese community has
If I
been...
may add, if you look at the British Empire, especially when they colonize India, as they enter, they capture our language.
Sure.
They took control. That's where they can spread Christianity.
Sure.
That's how they colonize us. The same note, the moment we lose your language freedom, you've
lost your identity.
We may become like Mauritius, Fiji,
where there are people
they are
but
Indians,
they don't speak.
they are Tamils. You look at their names, Ramasamy Pulle, Krishnasamy Pulle, and none of them could speak Tamil.
Yeah, sure.
So we may become the same one day You'll have many Saravanans, but they won't be able to speak Tamil.
Yes. But the question is, one of the things that I always wondered, I've toyed with this idea, Dato Sri, because someone who's from private sector, I've seen Singapore, Sinda, where every Tamil contributes minimum of 2 ringgit up to 10 ringgit, depending on what their income is, and the government matches it through the EPF or the Singapore Central Provident Fund contribution. So they raise that money to support it. It was a community initiative. And in Malaysia, I've seen lots of Chinese from the private sector support the Chinese schools by building infrastructure, by going out. So we talk about 528 Tamil schools in this country, Dato Sri. Would it be a far-fetched idea to think about 528 private sector Tamil businesses adopting each school?
I won't think it's over-ambitious. This is doable. And we should create a platform. If you talk outside political
Sure.
parties, there's a lot of Indians, a lot of even non-Indians would like to contribute.
Certainly.
They would like to contribute, but they want to remain apolitical. So we should, now it's about time for us to look at a platform
Sure.
for a networking. And of course, there's a trust deficit.
Of course, yeah, of course.
We must convince that at this point we are serious.
Wouldn't MIC be the platform, Dato Sri?
Again, I want to be honest. Okay, since we have too many political parties.
Sure.
Okay, I rather create a platform. I rather propose a platform
Which is apolitical.
Okay, because the community is facing a serious trust deficit.
Sure, certainly.
And you talk to every other Indian today, they know who to trust.
Sure.
This is a serious problem that we are facing. You talk to the youths today. At one point, everybody wanted to be in politics. And today they're looking around and said, who shall I trust? So we are facing a serious trust deficit. Therefore, the platform must be independent and supported by all political parties, regardless of our political ideology.
Sure. Certainly.
It's about a thing for a separate platform to protect Tamil school beyond our political ideology.
Sure, certainly.
Then it's doable.
Certainly. Dato Sri, as we come to the close of the podcast, let me tell you that how much of a pleasure it was talking to you. But looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of Tamil schools, and what role do you hope to play in this journey, Dato Sri?
Then, as I said earlier, I'm looking at we must come out with some serious planning for Tamil school.
Sure.
People may not understand. You cannot separate, if you go much deeper into Tamil studies, you cannot separate religion and language. Whereas we use a language to spread our religion. If you're talking about Alvar, you talk about Adiyar, you talk about any religious subject, I don't think it will be relevant without Tamil studies. And the richness of Tamil studies is deep rooted into our religious studies.
Sure.
Okay? But today, they don't get opportunity, all those things at primary school.
Sure.
So we must revisit the Tamil education in this country.
Sure.
Then we must propose a serious proposal to the government what we want.
Sure.
Then we support the government who can deliver.
Sure. Certainly.
And we must become a single voice.
Sure. Certainly. A single voice with a collective voice.
Collective voice, yes.
Which basically goes a long way. Tan Sri, as I close this podcast, I have to, talking about Tamil schools, I better say Nandri and then Terima Kasih.
I must tell you that I'm really impressed about your concern on Tamil school.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I don't see those words came from text. I feel that the whole thing that you raised today
Thank you.
come from
Thank
your
you.
heart. Thank you so
Because
much.
I remember one time from Kotabaru, the last school in the state, they were struggling through, and then we tried to do whatever we could do to help them. But the most important thing, like what you said, is a collective voice to move forward. I don't know whether I'm going to state the right kural when I close, because I'm in the company of Malaysia's Tamil poet in residence. செய்யாமல் செய்த உதவிக்கு வையகம் வானகம் ஆற்றல் அரிது. So basically, to hope that you will continue to help people and the society at large I hope I said the right Kural and one
There's
more
a very
time.
right Tirukural. You also can add one more. ஒத்ததறிவான் உயிர் வாழ்வான் மற்றையான் செத்தாருள் வைக்கப்படும். மற்றவங்களோட தேவைகள் அறிந்து யாரார் உதவி செய்கிறாங்களோ அவன் தான் உண்மையில் வாழ்கிற மனுஷனோட லிஸ்ட்டில் இருக்க வேண்டியவன். மற்றதெல்லாம் இறந்தவன் லிஸ்ட்டில் இருக்க வேண்டியவன்.
Thank you so much, Dato Seri. Romma nandri. Thank you, Terima kasih, Dato Seri.
Thank you, Dato.
Thank you. Thank you.